You see, you have to know something as a witness. You have to know something about the person or the situation, or in the instance of a crime, something that pertains to that. For us, we have to know something about who? Jesus Christ. The disciples fit that. They knew that. If you don't know something, what happens? The same courtroom drama happens, right? Someone objects. Someone says, they don't know what they're talking about. They're also a criminal. They're also a sinner. They don't know what they're talking about. You have nothing to refute. If you don't know Christ and you don't know the scripture, what do you say? What do you have? What evidence do you have in your life, in other words? So the first qualification to be a witness for Jesus Christ is that you have to know something. And Paul, the Apostle Paul, certainly knew something. He said in 2 Timothy, the first chapter, verse 12, I know whom I believe. I know who I believe. It says, that's why I'm suffering as I am. This is no cause for shame, because I know whom I believe, and am convinced that he is able to guard what I have entrusted to him till that day. There's no question in Paul's mind. There's no question. By the way, when they call you for a witness, you have to do what? You have to say something. You got to take an oath. So you have to say something. You actually have to say what it is that you witnessed. Some of us are afraid to say that. We're like covert Christians, like spies in the world. We don't want to say anything. We don't want to say anything at a job. We don't want to say too much in the family. We don't want to say anything anywhere else. But a witness has to say something. At some point, you have to get up and say something, or else your testimony doesn't mean anything because you're not saying anything. You see, we are the witnesses here on this earth. We go through all these motions, right? We worship, we take communion, we read the Bible, we do all these things, and then we hide it. We're afraid to tell anybody else. Some of us, we're just afraid because we don't want to be ridiculed. Some of us are afraid because we want everybody to like us, and some people may not like you if you're a Christian. But every once in a while, have you ever noticed that every once in a while, there's someone that goes to prison in this country and spends 10, 20, 30, 40 years in jail? There's some people that are sitting on death row that are waiting to die, and they are waiting for a witness because they've been falsely convicted. Every once in a while, you hear it in the news. Someone gets exonerated. You know what's sad? There are some states in this country where you spent that 25 to 30 years, and you don't get compensated, not a dime for that. They open the door and they say, sorry about that. But a lot of cases, it was the testimony, the false testimony of a witness, or the non-existent witness that never showed up to say something on behalf of this person's life. What if you had the secret to life? The secret that everybody's been looking for. The cure for all the ailments that are out there. The secret to having a fulfilling spiritual life, a fulfilling physical life, a mental life that's incredible, to have joy, to have fun. And you never told anybody. You do, by the way. You know what it is. In fact, I should say you know who it is. But some of us don't say anything. We don't want to say anything. I don't know why. It's like having the cure for an awful disease and you don't tell anyone. I'm just going to keep it here. I'll be good. Why? Those disciples went out and told everybody. Everyone. It's sad sometimes that we don't say anything. We don't ever ask. We don't ever question. We don't ever talk to people and say, hey, I got something that's exciting in my life. I know my life doesn't look like it's exciting, but I'm excited. Some of us we walk around like we've got the entire world on our shoulder. And we're carrying the weight of the world and we're walking around, oh, woe is me, oh, the problems I have. Oh, I wish so-and-so was here. I wish I had this. I wish I didn't do that. People look at us and go, I don't want to be like that. Those people are miserable. Look at them. Yeah, they come to church once in a while, but look at them the rest of the time. Whew. What kind of witness are you? Do you laugh? Do you have fun? Do you enjoy life? Or do you just walk around trying to figure out how to surmount all these unbelievable problems in your life? What kind of witness are you? Because even when those disciples were in chains, even when those disciples were in prison, even when those disciples were apostles now going out into the rest of the world and being stoned and being shipwrecked and ultimately being beheaded or crucified or impaled, people couldn't understand what's wrong with these guys. What's wrong with them? See, when you have a secret that's that big, when you have something that big, you can't keep it. You have to tell somebody. Has anyone told you a secret lately? A good one. I don't mean like an evil one. I'm talking about like somebody that's getting married. Somebody's going to have a kid that's been waiting to have a kid for so long. Right? You're excited. You want to tell somebody. Usually we try to tell our spouse and say, don't tell anybody. Which means that you've already told somebody, it's already falling apart. But the reality is we get excited, we want to say something. I got a new job. I won the lottery. That's just an example. I didn't win the lottery. Don't call me. I don't have any money. I'm just saying. But if we had it, right, we just shout it out. I got it. But you've got the secret to all of life's ills and problems. You've conquered death, which no one has figured out yet, other than through Jesus Christ. You've conquered death through Jesus Christ, and you're like, yep. Now nothing's going on in my life. Everything's cool. Same old, same old. Yep, going to work. That's how we act. That's how we act. It's a bit criminal in our ways, the way we act sometimes. Our failure to ask someone if he or she should be a Christian is sad, because we leave that person on their own, struggling, walking around aimlessly sometimes definitely going down the wrong path, going through a lot of heartache and pain that they didn't have to go through, because you already had the answer, but you never told them. You never told them. There's a little story about Rockefeller, John D. Rockefeller Sr. This is way back. One day, a friend of his, of Rockefeller, had taken a life insurance policy for $1 million. Okay, he saw the wealthy man, he asked, why didn't you let me write this policy for you? Right? This is Rockefeller's friend saying this. He was in the insurance business. Rockefeller actually gets $1 million insurance policy. He finds this out, and he says, why didn't you let me do it? And Rockefeller replied to him, why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you ask me? That was his friend, right? Wouldn't it make sense? Now, I know $1 million doesn't sound like a lot of money right now, but that was a ton of money back then. But he never asked. Some of us never ask. We never ask anybody to come to church. We never ask anybody to sit down and have a cup of coffee. We don't ask if they even know the Bible or if they know Jesus Christ or what's going on in their life. Some of us don't even bother to ask anything about anybody. And we wonder. I wonder how different it would be if we just asked the question of somebody. A good witness must also be something. A good witness must also be something. There's a lot of people who have experienced Christians and have not gotten the best experience. And for all of you that are out there who are watching or experiencing this at this moment, on behalf of those Christians who probably don't even understand what they have done or not done, I will apologize and ask for their forgiveness, myself included, because I'm not perfect either. But have you ever noticed that some of us act very unlike Jesus? It's sad.